Hey, greetings everyone from the Bring Me to Life podcast. Here I am. My name is Suleiman with Shannon Shine, and we have a very special interview. I'm not part of it because microphone situations, but Shannon is.
Yeah, it was kind of cool being able to do one of my first solo interviews with a sort of local artist, and it was just a lot of fun. He had a lot of inspirational things to say and a great story to share.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and definitely want to say, if you enjoy what we do, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Project Bring Me Life, on Twitter at PBM2L, and we are on YouTube, and just search Project Bring Me to Life. But most importantly, check out projectbringmetolife.com.
For many of us, spirituality is just the quest to find essence or true meaning and to really just connect with a higher consciousness.
Welcome to the Bring Me to Life podcast.
Connecting with your spirituality is very important in this life. By becoming mindful of all of that, you can realize where you are and if that is leading you to where you want to go.
Listen to the little simple things, because it's those little simple things that are going to shift you vibrationally in such a way that will prepare you to become very intuitively minded and ready to step forward on the next part of your path.
I hope you can feel the love that's inside you, it's inside me, that connects us.
Awakening humanity to spirituality and higher consciousness.
All right, thank you for joining Project Bring Me to Life today. We are grateful that you decided to wake up and shine on with us. We are here today with an amazing artist. Could you tell us a little bit about who you are and where you come from?
My name is Marlon Gunby. I'm originally from Ocean City, Maryland, but I've lived in Bedford, Pennsylvania for about the last 25 years.
Cool. And why did you become an artist? What inspired you to use that as your medium?
I guess it was a unfortunate situation. I was incarcerated at the age of 18, and at the age of about 23, I found art while in there, and it gave me an outlet to basically as a mental escape to get out of the walls, and then through that I also changed my way of thinking of how I started treating people.
Cool. What are some of your preferred mediums of art, like painting or drawing or?
Paintings mostly now. Tattooing. I did tattooing for professionally for 3 years, but I started tattooing about 12 years ago. Also, while I was incarcerated, I learned to I taught myself to simultaneously draw and tattoo at the same time, and it just sort of developed from there. But also graphite drawings, colored pencil, pretty much anything. I like to sculpt too.
Cool. So you mentioned that you moved up towards our area. Bedford's actually pretty close to Cumberland, where we're based out of. What made you decide to stay in this area versus like the eastern shore or the coast?
Freedom. It's a wide open space out here. I mean, you pretty much can go as far as what your thoughts can take you.
It's beautiful. What's another life lesson that you've learned as an artist?
Well, I guess on like a global scale, I guess at this point, this is a recent thought that I had was, one time we were in the Dark Ages, and through the Renaissance, it brought mankind's thought processes back enough that he could, stop living in filth and stop dying of disease, and come back and actually realize the king was not the be-all and end-all of our universe. So through that, mankind sort of, transcended where he was at, and started going forward in life. And that was only through the arts, through being able to open their mind in one way. It opened up the box to be able to see everything. And I think we're sort of in that same place again in society. And I think art and music is more important than right now is, in our generation than it's ever been.
Cool. That's beautiful way to put it. Art really has kind of helped transform through the ages, and just in general, I know that since the digital age just kind of came along and it's been easier to share artwork, there's been a lot of artists that have come out of that because they can share it with anyone, anywhere, pretty quickly and easily. I know as I'm working on a piece myself, if I'm unsure about something, I can post a picture to Facebook and in the new age, and people can see it really, really quick. But what's a tip for an aspiring artist? We talked about lessons, and let's talk about something that may inspire somebody that's thinking about doing art but isn't quite sure how to go about it.
Basically, start putting yourself in places where other artists are. Exposing yourself. Exposing yourself and opening your mind and seeing what others are doing and what they're creating, and and so just always stay in your own lane. Don't copycat anybody else. Just stay in your own lane. Whatever comes from your own mind, and you really can't go wrong.
I enjoy that. That's a good tip.
But appreciate what others do also at the same time.
Right. That's an important thing for artists, is to appreciate others' artwork rather than compete with other people's artwork. It seems like a lot of people find it a competition when really we're all just working together to share something beautiful and get our work out there and with other people. And I know your work personally. I've seen it at places such as Will's Mountain and Dante's and even Mad Tea Party this year, I think, and just all these really cool festivals and musical places. What are some other places, musical related or not, that you would love to see your work be featured at?
I'd like to be able to do, there were some murals that we were supposed to do in Bedford County, and somehow I got, political things happened and blocked that. But I'd love to be able to do that because they were nature-based, and it's something good for the community. Basically what it was a lot of different elements of nature, trees, flowers, butterflies, deer. There was everything in these things, and it was all nature-based though, and it wasn't what someone else wanted, and even though there was a lot of support and backing in it, it still got blocked. So it was a pretty bad situation. But I'd love to see those murals get put up, because the space that they were put in is still sitting there bare, even though they supposedly had another plan for it. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of murals going up in the surrounding areas that we're in. I know Cumberland's got a lot of mural opportunities too that maybe you could check out. But I would like to see more murals with nature-based things rather than some of the crazy things I've seen murals become lately. And in general, do you know of any upcoming festivals or spaces that your work will be featured so others can see that?
This Saturday we're having a show at the Allegheny Arts Council down here in Cumberland. It's a joint show with Jessica Musin, Chelsea Elliott, and Casey Harrison. They're tattoo artists from Tattoo Nouveau and Frostburg, and we're having an ink show. It's featuring the artwork of tattoo artists. Further down the road, Wells Mountain Festival will be there this year, doing a lot of painting projects at that. The Cambria City Ethnic Arts Festival. I'll be at Four Seasons Brewery in Greensburg in August. What else? We're having a Halloween party at Wells Mountain at the venue on
I just saw
October
that post.
22nd.
Is that Reimagine or?
Oh, that's the late night DJ sets
Oh,
at
cool.
Wells Mountain Festival. But then we're having a Halloween party out there too as well.
Oh, cool.
So we'll have more details on that on Wells Mountain.
Awesome.
When that festival comes along.
We'll have to share some information on Project Bring Me to Life about those upcoming events, because they're really close and really great time to attend. Just in general, what is maybe one of your favorite pieces that you've created?
Man.
I put you on the spot.
Hard one. I have to really think.
Or maybe a couple and why they were some of your favorites, if you can't choose one.
Think. That's hard. I've done so many of them over so many years now.
I can tell you my favorite was the lion that you did, and I think the first place I saw it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it was on it looked like a flag of sorts, and it was hanging kind of in the back of Will's Mountain. Was that your lion?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Yep.
I actually
That was a graphite drawing that we blew up.
Oh, yeah?
A small graphite drawing that I did, and someone made it into a banner for us.
Yeah, there was like 3 of them. I can't remember the other 2, but I remember the lion distinctively. It was in the center of them, and I was actually at Will's Mountain, and it was a hard festival for me because my grandma was in the hospital, and I'm really connected with the lion because I'm a Leo, and when I walked by it, it caught my attention, and I looked right into its eyes, and I knew I had this overwhelming sense of something was about to happen, but everything was going to be okay because of the pride of that lion. And I'm going to go emotional on you for a second, but it's actually that night, about 5 minutes later, I got the call that my grandma passed away, and that lion kind of kept me at ease because I was like, it's okay. I'm a lion. I got this. Life's going to be cool. So I just wanted to share that story with you because that lion really kind of kept me in line and reminded me as an artist that that's what we're there for, is to help other people get through situations. So
that's powerful. I mean, that's awesome. Like I don't even know. I'm sorry to hear about your grandmother passing, but I'm glad that at least, that's what it's about. Is that art has that ability. And that's a perfect example of it right there. And I'm glad it could help you.
You did. You really did. And it's funny as artists that we don't realize how much of an impact that we have on the people that are viewing our art, because when we're creating it, we're just putting a little piece of ourselves into this canvas or this piece of paper or whatever our medium might be. At any moment, someone can look at your artwork and it can mean something completely different to them and give them a really, really strong message. And that's something I wanted to share with our audience. Was, as artists, we don't realize we're doing that, but deep down we know that we're coming to help other people with putting love into what we love. I think it's a really cool thing. Do you have any message or any cool things that you've experienced as an artist that you'd like to share with our audience?
I guess at this point, I got to meet a lot of people, a lot of cool, different people, all walks of life, go to different places that I would never even then existed, unless I'd have got into art, So I guess it's, that in itself is, something that's an advantage that would keep me doing it, to the day I die,
Yeah, it's definitely once you do art, I feel like you don't just stop, and if you do, there's a big reason. But I enjoy that you don't plan on stopping anytime soon. And I do want to give a shout out to one of our friends that we have mutual friends from Bumblebee Glass. They highly recommend your artwork. And Bumblebat. So that was my bad. But Ken and Bree are really awesome, and they kept really supporting your work too. So.
Yeah, they're really good people.
Really I met them at Willis Mountain, and they were who told me it was your lion. So it's like, nice. I saw this lion. Cool. CeeLo on the sidelines. Do you have any questions for Mr. Gunby? Yeah, I'll repeat it.
I was going to ask, what inspires you to keep art?
CeeLo's question is, what inspires you to keep arting?
Stories like she just told right there. I mean, that's, that in itself, it's another 100 years right there, that I would do it, if I could, So, I mean, it's that and just so much change. I mean, a lot of this is like, kids nowadays need more options and things, than what society's throwing at them, The only way to really like counteract that is to, totally change their mind, and not in a way, waiting until, they're incarcerated or they have an addiction problem or, anything that would cause them harm, and giving them this option, but doing it in a way, I sort of have a different approach because I'm not like a trained artist, I have no school, I have no, anything that I've done, training wise as far as art. So I sort of have a different approach where I sort of see as like when I was younger, that's almost what kept me away from it in school. It was curriculum based, and it was so hard for me even at that age to look at it and say, it's something I'm supposed to be able to create anything I want with my own mind, but you want me to do exactly what you're telling me and these other 30 people sitting in this room to do. So it was, now I sort of look at it as, how can we reach these kids through art, the ones that aren't interested like I was, and had I found it at a younger age, I'd have never been incarcerated. I'd have never went through any of that stuff that I went through in my life, that the harm I caused myself, because I just didn't have that option, because it's always been in my family. I come from a long line of talented artists. I'm just one that just didn't want to do it, and finally I did in my 20s, and I'm glad I did.
I'm really glad that you decided to go through with it and spread the art as well.
Oh,
Anybody-
that too.
Anything else? Yep.
Have you, what sort of impact do you notice your art having on your surroundings and your surrounding community?
Well, what sort of effects do you see your art having on your surrounding community?
I guess inspiration. You know, some people who weren't, and you know, who were practicing, you know, weren't practicing their art, and you know, giving it up, or some of them are picked it back up because they saw me doing it, and I'm not even really like an artist. You know, a lot of these people are ones that have gone to school for 4 years for art or whatever, and they're just threw it to the side, and you know, I just sort of picked it up and just loved it so much that I guess others around me that started to love it too. And it's also beautifying the community. I mean, anytime you go out and see a picture of something on somewhere, you got to appreciate that, as long as it's done in good taste, you know, and it's not offending anybody, you know. So, yeah.
Cool. All right. So I know that I found you on Facebook. How can other people find you? Do you have a website, or do you prefer Facebook?
Facebook or Instagram.
Okay, and it's just Marlon Gunby, or Marlon Gunby Arts?
Marlon Gunby. Yep.
Cool. Well, I hope that many of our viewers take time to check that out. We'll have the links also on projectbringmetolife.com. Usually we create a little page for anyone we interview. Is that okay with you?
Oh, that's fine.
Cool. Well, we will make sure we include those links, and hopefully we'll get some people interested in what you're creating.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us today.
All right, thanks for having me.
Thanks for shining on with us.